It is June 27th, 2025. Dwyer, gamblersadvisory.com, a free site, bettingangle.us, a free site. Remember, the opinion you should follow should be your own. Just consider this video to be a second opinion from a complete stranger online. Well, Deontay Wilder is returning. He just had a weigh-in. And at that weigh-in, and this is significant, he weighed 225 and a half pounds. Again, 225 and a half pounds. Folks, Wilder, big name, obviously would be a desired opponent for many heavyweights looking to either, extend their brand, give us a measuring stick against a 5-year heavyweight champion. Tell us who was best during the era, right? Anthony Joshua might have an interest in fighting Deontay Wilder. That fight is long overdue, right? Let's just say charitably, in an understated way, Deontay Wilder is still viable at heavyweight, right? But what I want people to do is to realize that Wilder, even today, was only 1.5 pounds heavier than the weight limit for Bridgerweight. Right? What I want people to realize too is that one of the more important heavyweight fights that is currently scheduled involves two guys who held at least an interim title at Bridgerweight. Right, Lawrence Okolie, who actually won the championship. I believe Okolie today is still one of the Bridgerweight champions. Right, he won't fight at Bridgerweight again. He's too heavy now. But he won a title at Bridgerweight, and you have Kevin Lorena, who won an interim title at Bridgerweight. Well, understand, folks, there's discussion for fighters like Badu Jack to fight at Bridgerweight, Yamil Peralta to fight at middleweight, Christoph Wolodarczyk to fight at Bridgerweight. The Bridgerweight division really isn't that close to the cruiserweight division. Cruiser's at 200. Bridgerweight's at 224. Right? It's a full 24 pounds heavier. So what I want people to understand is that because Bridgerweight's at 224, understand, fighters like Joe Frazier fought several fights, at less than 224 pounds, right? Understand, you've had some of the better heavyweight champions, Rocky Marciano, Ezzard Charles, right, fight below 224 for most, if not all, of their careers. I need for folks to focus on the Bridgerweight division. Wilder, who many people, Tony Bellew, for example, have urged to leave the sport. The feeling is that after losing to Joe Parker, who of course is, in line for a heavyweight title shot, and after losing to Zhilei Zhang, who beat Joe Joyce twice, right, who lost a very narrow fight, to Philippe Ergovic, who, of course, is in line, not far removed from a heavyweight shot. The feeling was that Deontay Wilder had lost his fastball. That, this sport is a young man's game. It's unforgiving. Wilder was getting caught with shots. Wilder, who went 12 rounds, let's be clear, with Joe Parker. Lost the fight, but went 12 rounds. In my opinion, has a lot of opportunity ahead of him, right? I'm hoping he considers the idea of, remaining viable at heavy as he's doing, while also paying attention to Bridgerweight. Because understand, Wilder is in a position many heavyweights aren't. Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua, these guys can't come down to Bridgerweight. Right? They're too big. Here's a guy who conceivably could be fighting at Bridgerweight, could win a title, right, after a 5-year heavyweight run, while also being available for heavyweight matches. Understand, his next fight's a fight at heavy. He could have weighed 230, could have weighed 235. We wouldn't have blinked an eye. He weighed 225 and a half, within 2 pounds of the Bridgerweight limit. Right? Let's face it, too. You know, if he fought a Badu Jack, if he fought a Christoph Wolochuk, right, he'd be fighting guys who might not have ever faced the level of heavyweight power, right? Wilder's one of the hardest heavyweight punchers I've ever seen. Folks, he's in the neighborhood of George Foreman in my eyes. Right? You take that power to Bridgerweight, and some of these other fighters are going to be overwhelmed. Right? In analyzing the Canelo-Crawford fight, many old-timers, Julio Cesar Chavez, for example, flatly says they have weight classes for a reason. For most of Wilder's career, you didn't have a Bridgerweight division. So Wilder was fighting, as Rocky Marciano did, as, countless others did, Joe Frazier did. He was fighting at heavy. Imagine his power at Bridgerweight. Right? Understand, he wouldn't have to sacrifice anything because his natural weight appears to be in the 220s. Right, folks? At the weigh-in now, he's within 2 pounds of the Bridgerweight weight limit. Right? Let me also add a caveat, too. I believe that Lawrence Okolie, because of his skills, right, because he can fight long, because he's 6'5", because he has a jab, because he knows how to throw a very potent right hand behind that jab, I believe Okolie is going to have success in the heavyweight division. Understand, as these alumni of the Bridgerweight division, and of course Okolie was also cruiserweight champ, but as these alumni of the Bridgerweight division establish their bona fides in the heavyweight division, it's going to shine a light on Bridgerweight, and it's going to make having had a title in that division much more prestigious. Right? So Wilder has choices. I believe he wins his fight tomorrow. I believe Power is the last to go. Right? I think Wilder remains one of the hardest punchers. I believe there's a height and length dynamic where it's hard to reach Wilder even when he's standing in front of you. Pay close attention to the Wilder story. Folks, he has options. And I mean in more than one weight class. Those are my thoughts. Let me hear yours in the comments section of this YouTube video. Thanks for stopping by.